again, as Tati said, my name is Sierra Rosetta, and I'm an EADP candidate for Northwestern University's interdisciplinary PhD in theater and drama, and currently a rising senior at Northwestern College, no affiliation with this one, where I've been researching multicultural aesthetic theater theory for about 2 years now. Now, I study theater because I love performing in, directing, and writing plays, but especially because theater can be a powerful tool to dive into our nature and nature itself as a social and storytelling species. Certain cultures in the past and present have even forbidden theater because of its progressive themes and influential nature. The nature behind this influence lies in how theater affects our brains, especially how it targets our emotions, causing us to change how we think and act. The key to discovering what happens to our brains while we watch theater can be analyzed through aesthetic theories, 2 in particular. These theories are from ancient Greece and India that include Aristotle's Poetics and his theory of catharsis, and Bharatamundi's Natyasastra and his theory of rasa, respectively. Ancient Greece's Aristotle is a well-known philosopher that I'm sure you've heard of in an intro philosophy class. And he's influential in multiple fields, but he is beloved in theater theory for his treatise, The Poetics, that serves as a dramaturgy or theater theory handbook that has been educating theater scholars for centuries. In my own theater education, it was the very first thing that I read in 2 different intro to history and theory of theater classes. India's Bharatamundi is a well-respected drama theorist in India, but is far less known worldwide than his Greek colleague. Aesthetic theory seeks to validate or measure the emotional reaction towards a work of art that can change people. Catharsis and rasa both measure this change by outward reactionary signs like crying or like having your hair stand on end or by giving you goosebumps. My research compares Aristotle's Poetics and Catharsis to Mundi's Natyasastra and Rasa in order to create a more collectivist theater mindset in directing tactics, like the Rasa box exercise adapted from Richard Schechner, which more on that later, and that is taken from modern adaptations of Rasa theory. The outline of my final research paper had 3 sections. First, I provided information and the main purpose behind Aristotle and his Poetics, along with Mundi and his Natyasastra. Then I compared these 2 texts and analyzed their similarities and differences. Both are important and brought me to my last comparative section, which was Catharsis and Rasa. As for the purpose of my contribution to this research, a comparative study on rich sources such as these brings valuable results that can lead to the concept of universal dramaturgy, a universal but culturally diverse dramaturgy, that will shift the focus away from Western white-centric theater theory that has been the forefront in educating theater scholars for years, and instead encompass a wider range of cultural drama theory. What I found at the end of this comparative study is that both catharsis and rasa are thought-provoking theater theories towards performers on how to act in order to affect and change the audience through theater. Both require imitations of life through performance and are integrative experiences that constitute the ends of a work of art. And in order to create them effectively, they require a movement or response from the audience towards the performers. But to contrast, catharsis is a purgation of our emotions, while rasa is a celebration of them. Catharsis calls for a release or subtraction of the negative inside of us to make ourselves better, while rasa calls for an addition to the recipe of the emotions that we already feel in order to become better and relish in our human emotional capability. A theater maker's goal of catharsis, according to Aristotle's definition, means that they find certain emotions bad, and so they must be extracted through pity and fear while watching tragedy. Catharsis cures an excess of emotion and reduces that emotional value by striving to experience it in moderation. It requires a distance to be established between ourselves and what we experience and feel. While certainly some emotions are uncomfortable, rasa can still be achieved through those same emotions that the Greeks and Aristotle wanted extracted. Bharatamundi believes that entertainment is not the main purpose of theater, but rather it can transport audience members to a place where they can experience the nature of their own consciousness and explore different spiritual and quintessential questions. Experiencing a surge of emotion does not trigger a release like catharsis, but instead rasa is a powerful, mostly unexplainable experience that allows people to be truly changed by art. A modern rehearsal exercise that incorporates rasa theory and has been proven to increase emotional intelligence in actors is called Rasa Vox. Developed by Richard Schechner, but inspired by original rasa theory from Mundi, this experience seeks to use rasa and the primary emotions that they encompass as a way to underlie all behavior that make up a theatrical character. So kind of like the primary colors underlie all of colors, these Mundi and Schechner believe underlie all what makes up a character in theater. In the Rasa box exercise, actors move through 9 boxes that have been placed on the ground with tape or other materials, and each are labeled with the respective rasas that are on the board. And Shanta or Shanti or peace is the 9th rasa that was added a few centuries later. It's always in the middle, so that's always a place that the actors can go to in between. Rasa box is a technique that integrates acting, speech, voice, body movement, and language into the character that they are playing. So these 9 emotions are the main frame of every theatrical character, and the goal is that the actor should always know the nonverbal emotion that their character is experiencing to help trigger this response in the audience. So in rehearsal, a director should be able to stop you at any moment and you can describe one of these 9 preliminary emotions, and you should be able to effectively portray that non-verbally. Through theater's imitative qualities, we are able to easily identify these 9 basic rasas in an actor. An actor's knowledge of these 9 will help correctly convey the message to an audience. A rasa approach to theatrical emotion is supposed to occur independently from thinking and instead stem from our core. Rasabox supports my purpose behind this research because contemporary research into emotion suggests that things such as the facial expression are universal and are hardwired into our evolutionary mainframe. Wherever you are from around the world, a smile is a smile and conveys a certain emotion, and a frown is a frown. Rasa is an aesthetic theory and theatrical practice that uses a universality of emotion which helps actors connect with their characters, which leads to the audience better understanding the story. Moving forward with my research, I'm diving more into how Rasa theory from Mundi has developed into modern dialectical behavioral therapy theory, and I hope to someday create my own dramaturgy handbook like the Poetics or Natya Sastra on how ancient theater philosophy can help people cope with the symptoms of post-traumatic stress disorder through therapeutic theater. And Rasa theory is all about building ensembles, so I especially wanted to highlight my own ensemble of past and present theater and speech mentors, friends, teachers, and professors who continue to inspire and motivate me every day. For my high school mentors, Benny, Mr. Oldenburg, Stephanie, for pouring into me as a teenager, my best friend from high school, Des, far on the left on the bottom, who continues to come to every show I'm in despite living in a different state. My professors at Northwestern Iowa, especially Dr. Bob, 3rd from the right on the bottom, who has checked in on how I'm doing here every week to make sure I'm taking care of myself. My best friends, Rachel and Carissa, 2nd from the right. My SROP mentors, Dr. Bainbridge, who's here today, and Monique Newton. And of course, my family and my parents, who drove 8 hours to be here today, who put me in community theater when I was 4 and have been to every show and presentation since. Thank you all for being such a wonderful audience.